Israelites, the Israelis and the Jewish people that are over there right now, if they were the true Jews, why is the Bible saying, read it again, but Israel what? Does not know. But Israel don't know. Read. My people does not consider. He says his people don't even consider that they the Israelites. That's one of the most important things you could be. I don't care if you're a doctor, a CEO, I don't care, a bit, whatever you do, one of the most important things in this life is to be an Israelite. Okay, where is the true motherland? Why would they not teach you that? You can drop that, give me Psalm 83. I'm going to show you why they won't teach you that that's the true motherland. There's a reason why. And it's not a conspiracy. It's not a hidden thing. It's just hidden from us because we don't read. But Psalms 83 breaks down a lot of that. So we're going to see what it says. Yeah, Psalm 83. Yeah, Psalm 83. You can start at verse 1. Start at verse 1. This is the book of Psalms. Verse 83. 1. Keep not thy silence, O God. So it said, keep not silence. Go ahead. Hold not thy peace. Don't hold your peace. And be not still, O God. Meaning, because our people always talk about just be still and wait. No. When you deal with the Bible, you got to understand the Most High has a certain mind. So when we pray to the Most High, we don't want the Most High to be still. We want him to make moves on our behalf. So right now he's telling them, don't be still. Go ahead. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult. Enemies make a tumult, meaning like a tumultuous meeting. Like there's an issue going on about what? Go ahead. And they that hate thee, they what? That hate thee, hate us, have lifted up thy head. Meaning they're rising up against us. Go ahead. They have taken crafty counsel. So remember, I said it's not like it's a hidden thing because it's in the Bible, but they took crafty counsel to make sure we didn't know where our homeland was, who we were, where we come from. Go ahead. Against our people and consulted against the hidden ones. Go ahead. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. Come what? Let us cut them off from being a nation. Well, what? That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Right, so that's why they don't even call themselves Israelites no more. They're not Israelites. That's why they don't call themselves the Jews. But to be Jew, that means that you come from the tribe of Judah. So you can't say you Jewish. There's no such thing as being Jewish. That's right. If you don't come from the tribe of Judah, you ain't no Jew. All right. If you call yourself an Israelite, either you are or you're not. Israeli meaning we do things pertaining to. Jewish meaning we do things pertaining to the Jews. They took our customs. They did the things that were written in our Bible somewhat, but they're not really us. And I'm going to show you further proof of that. So does that mean, so we are like Jews, right? We are the Jews. We're Jews. So we crucified Christ. We crucified Christ. We killed our brother. Yeah. Go ahead. Keep going on that. Yeah. Let's start with verse 4. Verse 4. Verse 5. Slide. For they have consulted together with one consent. So they came together with one consent. They all came together. It wasn't like it was just one nation or another nation. They all came together with this one consent. Go ahead. They are confederate against thee. Go ahead. The tabernacles of Edom. So you had the Edomites, which you would consider like Arabs. And the Ishmaelites. And the Ishmaelites, both of them together. Go ahead. Of Moab. And the Hagarenes. All right, these are also Arabs. Go ahead. The Baal, the Ammon. And Amalekat. The Philistines. Come on over, bro. Philistines, Africans. Go ahead. With the inhabitants of Tyre. All right. And who else? Ashur also is joined with them. All right. So you had Ashur also. Go ahead. They have hope in the children of Lot. Right. So they all came against us, took us away from our heritage. When we read in Luke a while ago, right? We're gonna go back to Luke. Matter of fact, go back to Luke. And Luke, it was talking about us fleeing into Africa, going to these countries, and basically hiding out amongst other dark-skinned people because we were being persecuted. All right, that's the history they won't teach you. All they're gonna say is, well, Africans sold African slavery. And that's not true. Matter of fact, Luke, go to Joel 3, and let me show you further proof of that. So when they say Africans sold Africans into slavery, that's not true. This is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 1. Go ahead. For behold, in those days, and in the time when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. Judah and Jerusalem, northern and southern kingdom. Because of the 12 tribes, we already come from the same kingdom. We came from the same father, we had different mothers, but we had a northern and a southern kingdom. All right, so Judah and Jerusalem, go ahead. I will also gather all nations. He said at that time, when I start to bring them back to their rulership, when they remember who they are, I'm going to gather all nations, go ahead. And we'll bring them down into the valley of Jezebel. That means to the valley of decision. That's that end time war you always hear about. Go ahead. And we'll plead with them that are for my people. So I will plead with them there for my people. Go ahead. And for my heritage Israel. For his heritage Israel. Read on. Whom they have scattered among the nations. So I'm going to ask you, how did they scatter us among the nations? Hold that. Deuteronomy 28:68. Exactly. Exactly. You know about the translated slave trade, correct? Correct? Okay. Is it in the Bible? We didn't even talk about that in the Bible at all? No?
Yeah. It said, I will see you in foreign land. You would not know you would become slaves of their masters or something like that.
Watch this.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people.
So we just read in Joel, he's saying he's going to scatter us, right? So now he's reiterating again, I'm going to scatter you among all people. Go ahead.
From the one end of the earth, even unto the other.
Even into the other. So that means all over. That means out in the islands. That means off the coast of Africa. That means Central South America. That means North America. That's all over. Verse 68.
Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
I'm going to bring you into Egypt. When you read in Exodus 20, it explains what Egypt means. It means, you have to get it. It means bondage. So he said, I'm going to bring you into Egypt again. Because the first time we went into Egypt, we walked into Egypt free. Right? We left out what? Slaves, and he set us free from Egypt. But we walked. So now he said, I'm going to put you in Egypt again, or bondage again.
With ships.
With what?
With ships.
Translated slave trade. With ships this time, I'm going to put you back in bondage. Go ahead.
By the way, where I spake unto thee.
By the way, Rob, I spake unto thee, meaning exactly how I'm saying it, is exactly how it's going to happen to you. You're going to go into slavery on slave ships. Go ahead.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
Now go see your homeland. Go ahead.
And there you shall be sold unto your enemies.
And when you get off those slave ships, you're going to be sold unto your enemies.
For bondmen,
for slave men,
and bondwomen,
and slave women.
And no man shall buy you.
No man can buy you out of it, meaning nobody can save you from that slavery. Because certain points in the Bible we talk about slavery, like Jacob, right? When he served for his wives. He was in servitude, but he served in servitude, and he was released after he served the second one. 14 years. Exactly. But this one, he said, nobody going to be able to redeem you out of that slavery. You're going to go into this slavery, it's going to be different this time. Because nobody going to be able to save you out of it. Give me verse 32.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 32.
Go ahead.
And it reads, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
In that slavery, when they sold us, it said your sons and your daughters shall be given unto another people. Go ahead.
And thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long.
So as they were being sold, that's that mother or that father looking at their children being sold and could do nothing about it. They said your eyes will look and fail with longing all day long. No matter how bad you want that child, they just got sold in slavery. There's nothing you can do about it. Go ahead.
And there shall be no might in thy hand.
No strength in your hand. Read on.
The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation with that thou knowest not eat up.
Verse 48.
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
So those same people he sold us to, he said, now you're going to serve those same people. Go ahead.
Which the Lord shall send against thee.
Go ahead.
In hunger.
So when you eat food, guess who you got to go to? That's why when Jay-Z put in that song about us eating pig intestines and so forth, this is what he was talking about. We didn't have no choice because we were slaves, so we had to go to our enemy for the food. They're not going to give you the best, they're going to give you the worst. He said, so, and because you broke my commandments, you're going to have to go to your enemies for food. Go ahead.
And in thirst.
When you thirsty, you got to go right now to this day. We can't even put up a rainwater trap at your house without them putting some type of tax on it. Go ahead.
And in nakedness.
And in that, when you need clothes, guess what? You better go to Nike, Under Armour, whoever. Because I'm going to take that, everything y'all had, we used to make our clothes which look similar to what you have on. Like what you have on right now. They're not going to the mall and Amazon to buy that right now. Maybe. But for the most part, we get Nike, whatever it is, because now we got to get it from our enemy. When we used to produce it ourselves. Go ahead.
And in want of all things.
And in want of all things. So whatever you wanted, guess what? We had to go to them to get it. Go ahead.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
And in that slavery, the Bible told us, I'm going to let you know who you're dealing with. He's going to put a yoke of iron upon your neck. Go ahead.
Until he have destroyed thee.
Until he destroyed us mentally. And we have relationships. So going down into Egypt, Ethiopia, all these different places, we always dealt like that. Especially among the rivers, because the rivers how you would travel, how you would do trade and so forth. We would go to those places. All right, and so that means we intermingle with them. So I get that part. All right, but we forgot who we were. Read that.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 1, verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner.
Say an ox, which is a dumb animal, he knows his owner.
And the ass, his master's crib.
And the ass, meaning a donkey knows how. If a donkey wanted to own, he know how to get back to his crib, how to get back to his home.
But Israel does not. But Israel does not know.
So if the Israelis and the Jewish people that are over there right now, if they were the true Jews, why is the Bible saying, read it again, but Israel what?
Does not know.
But Israel don't know. Read.
my people does not consider.
He said his people don't even consider that they the Israelites. That's one of the most important things you could be. I don't care if you're a doctor, a CEO, I don't care, whatever you do, one of the most important things in this life is to be an Israelite. Because the promises were given to us.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, or Sirach, chapter 44, verse 22.
Go ahead.
With Isaac, then he established
All right,
likewise.
so when you go down the family lineage, from Noah, we had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, Japheth, right? Out of Shem came the promised line. So out of Shem came Abraham. Out of Abraham came Isaac. All right, so it said with Isaac what?
Established likewise.
So with Isaac, the same covenant he established with Abraham, he established it with Isaac. Go ahead.
The blessings of all men.
The blessings of all men went to Isaac. Go ahead.
And the covenant.
And the covenant that he made with Abraham, it was passed to Isaac. Go ahead.
And made it rest upon the head of Jacob.
Then he made it rest upon Jacob. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob was his son. He said all those blessings and promises, he made it rest upon the head of Jacob. Go ahead.
He acknowledged him in his blessing.
He acknowledged Jacob in his blessing. Go ahead.
And gave him a heritage.
Gave him an inheritance. Go ahead.
And divided his portions among the 12 tribes.
So of all the things he got, all the blessings, the land, the Jew, everything that he had, he said he then took it from Jacob, and Jacob poured it in who?
Divided his portions among the 12 tribes. Did he put them?
Right. That's what
That's
all right, so when I say the 12 tribes of Israel, we're talking about not just the black folks. It ain't just us. He already said, I'm going to scatter you. Not only did he scatter us, he gave us certain land masses. In Egypt, they have what's called pyramids, right? In Mexico, they got pyramids, correct? In Memphis, they got pyramids. Who built the pyramids in Egypt? The Israelites. They were in bondage under Pharaoh. They built the pyramids, right? How do they have the exact pyramids in Egypt over here on this side of the world? You ever considered that? No, go back to the prophet. Give me 2nd Ezra 13. Let me show you how. So when I say Israelites, 12 tribes, I'm not just talking about blacks. Blacks, which y'all call Hispanics from Mexico all the way down to South America, out in the islands and so forth, right? Cubans, Haitians, all these people, these are all Israelites, and it's in the Bible, but they just never told you about it, right? Blacks, Hispanic, and indigenous, like dark aborigines, people like that, these are people that you never consider being the chosen children of the Bible. Until now, until brothers with the spirit of Yeshua, which I call Christ, start to read, dissect, discern, and understand what he was saying.
It's the book of 2nd Ezra.
Oh, okay.
Chapter 13, verse 40.
Go ahead.
Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king.
So at one particular time, 10 of the tribes were put in prison, right? Because they were out into idolatry, all type of stuff. Go ahead.
Whom Salmanassar, the king of Assyria, led away captive.
Go ahead.
And he carried them over the waters. And so came they into another land.
Go ahead.
But they took this counsel among themselves.
So when they were in this other land, they took a counsel among themselves. Go ahead.
That they would leave the multitude of the heathen.
So they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen. Go ahead.
And go forth into further country.
They go forth into a further country
where never mankind dwelt.
You see that? So that's how they got here first. That's why when Christopher Columbus came and he saw these indigenous people, and talking about he discovered America or wherever else they discovered, there's already people there. And we always knew about these lands over here. That's how we got here first. That's why when you go down to Louisiana, right? When you go down to Florida especially, and you got people who they would say would be like either Cherokee or Seminole Indians. How you think those people got here? Just telling you how they got here. They went forth to a further country where never mankind dwelt. So at this particular time in history, what we're reading right now is when what y'all would call Cubans, Mexicans, Hondurans, Brazilians, all these people, right? How were these people here when Christopher Columbus came? How were they already here, but we never heard about the history of them? They always talk about, oh, they went through the Bering Strait, but it's unbearable. There's no way you're going to get millions of people walking through frozen tundra with children and all type of stuff and make it over here. But this is telling us that they got on ships, they took this counsel among themselves, that they would go forth into a further country,
that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never no man
dwelt, where never mankind dwelt. So that's how you got here first. That's how you established the Mayan kingdom, the Aztecs, all these other people that came over here. This is the history they never ever taught you. And they don't want you to know, because once you understand who you are, now your mindset is different. Now you don't act like the stereotypical black man, the stereotypical Hispanic, but they want you to act like. Now you start acting. You act according to as your heritage is. Drop there, give me 1 Kings 8:47. That's the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13.
Okay. That's not in the Bible.
It's in the Bible. It's in this Bible right here. But they took it out of these Bibles. It's a 1611 King James Bible. Alright? Old Testament, Apocrypha, New Testament, and there's other books. This one don't even have the book of Enoch and none of that. But those are other books that they took out because they don't want you to know the information you need so that we're not at the bottom of society. Once you start understanding how you're supposed to operate, especially as men, when we come out here, right now, I'll talk to you a little bit about this. The difference between what you see with us and what you see with the fake pastors is we understand according to the Bible that he made us a certain way as men, meaning he told us we his warriors, first and foremost. He told us we were gods. He didn't say we niggas. He didn't say we Hispanic, Mexican, Black, African American. He told us that we were gods. He said, you are gods, but you will die like men. Why? Because we went away from the things that he told us. Alright, now watch this. 1 Kings 8:47.
This is the book of 1 Kings, chapter 8, verse 47.
Go ahead.
Yet if they shall repeat themselves,
So it's talking about the Israelites. Remember, we were either conquered, meaning you were here, and you were conquered by people that lied to you and told you that you were something that you're not, or they brought you over slave ships. Majority of us were already over here. Whether you look like me or like you, majority of us were here already. So the ones they brought over in slavery were not the majority. The majority were the ones that they conquered, and they put on reservations, or they forced into other parts of the country, and they took the best parts of the land. But it said, yeah, if what?
they bethink themselves
If you bethink yourself, if you remember who you are,
in the land whether they were carried captive
meaning wherever you went,
and repent.
and repent, meaning return back to the things that he taught us. Get out of the mindset of America, basically. Whatever oppression, you could be in America, you could be in Venezuela, you could be in Europe, you could be wherever. We all oppressed. He said, wherever you are, just repent. Meaning return back to how we used to be. Go ahead.
And make supplication.
Make supplication, meaning you actually talking to the prayers that y'all sending up right now, the Most High God don't hear it. That's according to the word. And the reason why he don't hear it is because we haven't repented. We praying according to what the pastor told us. We praying according to our feelings, but we're not praying according to what the Bible told us.